Today's program, as I said, is so exciting, and it's called Songs from the Grass Widow. And let me just give you a little bit with the bios. So John Bakken is a classical cellist, jazz bassist. I'm having trouble with my talking today. Songwriter, composer, and elementary strings teacher from Brookings. He is also the creator of Tiger Meat. I would say a magazine. He said it's a zine, so I'm getting educated what a zine is. But he said it's just like a magazine, but it's just
Anyone can do it.
Okay.
You just staple paper together and you got your magazine.
So anyways, I said educating Rita every day here. But it's a website about South Dakota albums, which is being collected in a hardcover editions in summer of 2024. He also recently released his debut folk rock album, excuse me, Return to the City of Afterwall, and an EP of songs from an upcoming musical theater collaboration with Eliza Blue, The Grass Widow. Yeah. And so Eliza is a writer, folk musician, and rancher living on the grass prairies of western Dakota. Her weekly column appears in 19 print publications, and she's written 2 books, Accidental Rancher, which I've read, and Little Pasture on the Prairie, which I read. She hosts a PBS show celebrating rural art and culture, Wish You Were Here with Eliza Blue, and is the artistic director of the Kiss Ship Collective, an organization devoted to innovative ecosystem-specific storytelling. And now I will get off this microphone and turn it over to Eliza and John. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here. We're looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. Hopefully I'm going to get it back in now. Okay, here we go. Well, it is just fantastic to be here with you all. So the Grass Widow, songs from the Grass Widow. You wouldn't normally think that you'd be getting to hear songs at a book festival, but
we tricked them.
we tricked them.
Trojan horsed. We both have books and we're like, we play music too. And they're like, okay.
So the story of this collaboration, John and I actually met here in Brookings partly as a result of his zine. He had interviewed another South Dakota musician who had named one of my albums in their discussion. And so then he came up to me. I played a show at Good Roots Farm and Gardens. And afterwards he came up to me and told me about his zine. And I was like, super excited because we don't have that many ways to find out about South Dakota music. And I live up in the northwestern part of the state, so I was really thrilled that there was somebody doing this, and it just gave me an opportunity to get to know other South Dakota musicians. And then John was gracious enough to be on the show with me. We did an episode at Good Roots. So that came out. You can find that online. And we just had so much fun. And from the very first rehearsal, preparing for the TV show, I was just like, man, I really want to work with him again. So I can't remember if I think I actually called you on the phone and I was like, so I'm writing this folk opera. And you were like, yes, I will do it with you. And I was like, and so it turned out we both have this background of love for musical theater. And so anyway, that was probably just maybe a year and a half ago. I mean, it wasn't, because I'm trying to think, was it?
Yeah, maybe 2 years. I can't remember.
Maybe it was 2 years. So in that time, I mean, I live in Bison. John obviously lives here in Brookings. We're about as far apart in the state as you can get. So getting in the same place at the same time is challenging. And but he came out so a year ago in the spring, and we sat down to work on some of these songs that I'd already started. And it went even better than I had high expectations, and it went even better than I had hoped. So we were able to release this EP last summer that we called Rough Drafts, because they were indeed rough drafts of these songs. And so we've worked up a few more of them. And it's almost, I was sort of jokingly calling it an open rehearsal, because this is still very much a work in progress. And so you are totally our guinea pigs. You can tell us what you think. because, yeah, our eventual goal and dream would be to have this be a staged production. Calvin agrees. It's a good idea. To have this be a staged production, but again, we have the complications of living in different places and coming together in the same place to rehearse. But I will say the other tie-in, though, to books is that all of these songs, when I first had decided that I was going to be staying in South Dakota, which was over a decade ago, I had come here thinking I was just going to have a temporary adventure and then go back to my urban life. And I ended up staying, and I now live on a ranch with my husband and our 2 kids, and I'm very ensconced there. But when I was first making the decision to stay, I started writing this series of poems. And at the time, I'm not a poet. At the time, I was confused why I was doing it, since I'm not a poet. But it was like they were just coming out of me. And at that, some of them were definitely autobiographical, but it started to take on this feeling, I don't know, of being something that was existing outside of me, outside of my story. But I still didn't know what to do with them. So fast forward a few years, I tried setting a couple of them to music, and I think 3 of them did appear on my last album. But it wasn't until right around the time that I'm talking about meeting with John that I started being like, wait, I think these actually go together, and I think it's a story that is meant to be presented as a narrative, as a full narrative. So that's what we've been kind of working on. And again, we're going to be playing some songs, and I'm also going to be kind of weaving the story that goes with the songs, so that you can start. Although we were rehearsing earlier, and I was like, oh my gosh, John, what if it's set in a completely different time than I thought? Because as we were playing it, I was just like, oh, wait. So again, I mean, this is definitely, we're in the birthing process with this brand new baby. So that being said, the very opening, the first song we're going to play you is called Overture, which makes sense as the first song. And what is happening so if you can imagine the staging, there's a woman behind her, she's got some sort of rudimentary housing, and then there's a large tree. And in front of the house, there is a loom, and she's been working on a weaving. Now, she's talking to a man, he's loading up a cart with probably grain, something like that, and he's getting ready to leave, and they have some kind of conversation about how he's going to be back in just a few days, and she's not wanting him to go, and he's like, it's going to be fine, I'll be back, and he points to the loom and says, I'll be back before you finish that. And then off he goes. So this song she's singing as she's actually working on the loom. And what we were talking about today is that in the staged production of this, the sounds of the loom will be the first things you hear, and that will kind of be the percussion that eventually then the song sort of grows out of. And this is the other curveball I sent John. I was like, wait a minute, what if we make it a waltz? So I'm trying to decide, do you guys want to hear both versions, like a little bit, and then you can vote and see which one we should do? I'm fully serious.
Text now to. I wish we had a number ready.
No, we should. So the original way that was going to go was more like this. Against the hard loom of your love, I scuttle back and forth, 'cause you're leaving. Weaving fast with twine and leather, tie this whole thing back together. So that's version number 1. And it's nice and peppy. It feels like a good way to start, but it's a pretty sad moment also. And we actually looked up and we were listening to the sounds looms make when you're using one. And I was like, thinking it sounded a little more waltzy. So this is completely different vibe to start out with. I search the field, find only tatters. The meadowlark's flown and left her feathers. The day is breaking, the weather's changing. The robin's left and left me waiting. Hold me closer. Hold me closer. Autumn branches, tattered dancing, gray and twisted. Hold me. So what do you think? Yes. So you think, so when you're imagining the loom going, that feels good, right? So you think this, or you think?
Here's what I just thought of
Okay,
right
all right,
now.
let's hear it.
It starts upbeat, boom, and then as it goes on and she's finishing her loom and realizing he's not going to make it back in time,
So halfway
then
through
we
the
flip
song,
to
it
3/4.
switches.
The
Ooh,
last verse or the last chorus goes into a 3/4.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, with stage magic here, you have to imagine she's working, she gets up, and maybe the lights go down to show it's night, and then they come back up to show it's day. And by the time she gets to the end of the song, the weaving is finished, and he very obviously has not returned. All right, so should we play the whole song? Or
Probably should play the whole
okay.
Sorry.
I don't know, do you think I can switch it halfway through? I'm not sure I'm that good. Okay.
We'd have to practice that one.
All right, so you have to imagine, I should add that the weaving itself, actually what she's weaving is an echinacea flower or a cornflower. So if you know those, they look like daisies, but they have purple petals and usually a long stem. So that's the weaving she's doing is of a coneflower. Against the hard loom of your love, I scuttle back and forth 'cause you're leaving. I'm weaving fast with twine and leather to hold this whole thing back together. Hold me closer. Hold me closer. Autumn branches, tired of dancing, gray and twisted. Hold me. I search the field, find only tatters. The meadowlark's gone and left her feathers. The day is breaking, the weather's changing. The robin's left and left me waiting. Hold me closer. Hold me closer. Autumn branches, tired of dancing, gray and twisted. Hold me. Hold me closer. Hold me closer. Autumn branches, tired of dancing, gray and twisted. Hold me. Against the hard loom of your love, I scuttle back and forth 'cause you're leaving. So she walks then back into her house, and the lights go down. So next we have some neighbors are passing through. She's out digging potatoes. Basically everybody knows that he's left and he's not coming back, but she's not ready to admit it. So these neighbors are coming by and they're inviting her to leave and go with them. And she says, no, he'll be back, he'll be back. And as they exit, a flock of birds start singing in the trees. And they have a whole song where they're basically like, "You're an idiot." And she shoos them away, probably throws a potato up into the branches. And then the wind picks up. And the wind is actually going to be a pretty prominent character as is the tree. So in this tree, suddenly the wind comes up and it's blowing through the branches. And we get a song that is going to be a song that reappears, the melody reappears throughout the play. This is the first time we're going to hear it, though, and it's the wind is actually singing it and is singing it kind of as a choir. You're good at staying, good at staying, good at staying till the rut makes a road. You're good at staying, good at staying, good at staying till the rut makes a road. It's long past dusk, everything is black, except the dust between the headlights and summer grass. And off to the side, a plastic gravesite stands, marked by a plastic wreath, tumbled by the wind. You slow the map, spread on your lap, the dome light glowing low. You slow the map, spread on your lap, the dome light glowing low. Look up, a fox is fleeing. Watch her roam, watch her roam. Look up, a fox is fleeing. You're finally home. You're finally home. You're finally home. You're good at staying, good at staying, good at staying till the rut makes a road. You're good at staying, good at staying, good at staying till the rut makes a road. So now there's a little twist in the way this will be staged. So the actor who plays the husband character, he will not be seen again in human form, but he returns throughout the play as different characters. So the next time we see him, now she's trying to prepare for winter. Winter's coming on. Oh, I just realized I'm gonna get the cell phone up for this one. Winter's she's sort of trying to prepare, and she has some chickens in a chicken coop. And she comes out to find one morning that a raccoon has gotten into her chicken coop, and it has killed all but one of the chickens. And as she's like looking around, and there's just feathers strewn all over the stage, and then she realizes the raccoon is actually still there in the chicken coop. So they have this confrontation. So this song is so new that I actually have to still read the words off my cell phone. But we're going to give it a go, because I think it's a pretty cool idea. And basically so again, it's the same actor that plays her husband now as this raccoon. And it's the first time that she has to sort of, because again, we've heard the wind, we've heard the birds, but she's not really, she keeps thinking it's her imagination. And this is like the first inkling that she gets that these other entities are actually talking to her. So this song is called Raccoon's Song.
About this fast. Okay. Sorry, this is a world premiere.
Yeah.
You're about to hear it. Sorry.
I actually was joking. I was like, we're going to tell my mom, film it. This is the world premiere. Yeah,
Right?
she already has her camera out. She knew. See? Psychic connection here.
Is that right? About that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pull hands apart by their thin, fragile legs, white feathers scattering, carried by the wind. So cruel, so shocking, but ever must eat their bones. Are my wheat, feel their bodies my meat. And I know that you hate me for all I've done wrong. So weave it into story, sing it in a song. And death don't just come for the weak. Someday I will be someone else's feast. Oh, the ground is hungrier than you might think. It's waiting to welcome back every living thing. And life won't really last all that long. If you're lucky, you outlive all you've done wrong. Time pays all your debts, time evens the score. Don't spend yours waiting, crying by the door. Winter's coming fast, you ain't got no stores. You can't get enough, you will always need more. Oh, the ground is hungrier than you might think. It's waiting to welcome back every living thing. And life don't really last all that long. If you're lucky, you outlive all you've done wrong. Oh, the ground is hungrier than you might think. It's waiting to welcome back every living thing. And life don't really last all that long. If you're lucky, you outlive all you've done wrong. That's going to be kind of like rock ballady, I think. Don't you think so? Nobody rocks harder on cello than John Bakken.
That's not true.
And actually, seriously, I don't know how many of you are actually from Brookings, but if you have a chance, or Sioux Falls, because he plays down there a lot, if you have a chance to see this man play solo or with a band, please do not miss the opportunity. Seriously. Seriously. All right, well, the next song, so this is a song, again, now the wind is singing to her, so she's chased off the raccoon now, she's gotten rid of him, thank goodness, but she's only got this one hen left. And she's starting to feel pretty sad and maybe sorry for herself, and certainly pretty lonely. But now is when this tree behind her, it's an old cottonwood. It starts to sing to her, and it's singing her basically a lullaby, a love song. And this is another thing. Sometimes I think I want the cottonwood to actually have her voice also, so it sings to her in her own voice, but I don't know, we'll see. There's still a lot of maybes here. What is a body, a house for a soul? What is a road but a way to get home? It's too far to run, but it's farther to fall. So let's dance to the edge of the room. An unwelcome sorrow has long played the croon. Sweet amber kisses distilled from the gloom. You ask for so much and say nothing at all. Ask me to dance, won't you ask me to dance? I've grown so weary of star-crossed romance. Ask me to dance and I will not refuse, and we'll dance to the edge of the room. "10,000 sparrows have gathered at dawn. They bicker and sing as they tread across the lawn. I open the windows, you open the door, and let's dance to the edge of the room. Ask me to dance, won't you ask me to dance? I've grown so weary of star-crossed romance. Ask me to dance and I will not refuse, and we'll dance to the edge of the room. Grow the lilies of spring. In my darkest hour I learned how to sing, and my body will die but my soul will be free, and I'll dance. Here in the dust grow the lilies of spring. In my darkest hour I learned how to sing, and my body will die but my soul will be free, and I'll dance. Sorry. Oh, all right. So, sorry. We might be hiring a guitar player to play in the orchestra. All right, so now here we have another twist. We're now approaching the winter solstice. And again, the nights are very long, the days are very short. It's very cold. It's just her and her little hen living in this house in a wilderness of grass. And suddenly, it's the longest night of the year. And all of a sudden, she hears a voice outside, and she thinks it's the voice of her husband and that he's finally come back. But it is, in fact, the constellation of Orion, who, again, is played by the same actor. So he's singing in the same voice, coming back to haunt her once again. So she comes out, she hears the sound of his voice calling to her. She comes out, bursts out of her house into the dark night, the darkness of the night, looks up and sees that it is not her husband, but this constellation. And then she sings this song, and it's called Orion's Song. You were not a good constellation, and I knew it. For one thing, I can't trust you in the dark. The bright belt at your belly shifts and sparks. It's hard to rest with you strung up so high. The bright belt at your belly shifts and sparks. To tell you the truth, every morning I was surprised to find you still beside me. As I rose, you said it was hard to say who was chasing whom. As I rose, you said, but when you told me you would come for me, I still believed in you.
What a tragedy, the small kind, that I couldn't make it true.
You were not a good constellation, and I know it.
For one thing, I can't trust you in the dark.
The bright belt at your belly shifts and sparks.
Tried to rest
sleep with you strung up so high. The bright belt at your belly shifts and sparks. So at that moment, the wind rises up and it starts to shake the trees, and this tree starts to sing to her again, and we hear that same "Ask Me to Dance" melody coming up, and the "Good at Staying." And she listens for a minute, but she's still not quite ready to hear it, so she goes back in and slams the door. End of Act 1. So now here she is. It's deep, deep winter. And she is going to have to make it through. And this is when she does start to soften a little bit and starts to make friends with the tree, make friends with the wind. They end up teaching her how to ice fish, and she goes out and she's able to, live on the meager rations that she has, the one egg that she's getting from her little hen. And she is making a go of it. And she's starting to have the feeling that things are not as she thought they were, and that she's not even maybe so sure about this guy coming back. But one thing she does know is that she can't go back. She can't go back to the woman that she was before she was abandoned. So this song is kind of that moment where things are starting to change, where she's having this awakening of the person that she's becoming and the person that she's leaving behind. Suddenly I'm always shouting, my tongue is banging like a drum, my thoughts are running wild, every one of them is proud as a child. I know I'm spending too much time alone. My desperation makes me bold. My desperation makes me bold. I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back anymore. Sometimes when I'm walking, I feel old. It's a long and dirty, dirty, twisted road. And when you say that I would never I can't go back. I can't go back. I can't go back anymore. Suddenly I'm always shouting, my tongue is banging like a drum. My thoughts are running wild, every one of them is proud as a child. I just realized we're like dangerously close to out of time.
What, is
we
it
didn't
really?
really time this very well.
Oh, no.
So it's already 3:54.
Okay, do we jump?
Well, yeah. So what do you think? Should we do I I didn't know as a seed, and then every song's a love song now? Do you think that's
I really
good?
want you to do I Didn't Know It Was a Seed.
Okay.
That song. I'm playing that
I
one.
mean, okay.
You bought?
What was that?
Do you know?
I'm sorry, what? So, all right, we're going to jump ahead a little bit. Just a little bit. So she actually has a further confrontation with a fox, again, played by the actor that is her husband, where now he's come and she's, it's spring is coming, and she's actually made it through the winter, and she's more than survived. She's learning to thrive. And then he comes back, and he's digging through her trash, that stinker, trying to eat some bones or whatever, and she comes out and she's like, and so then he sings her this love song, and he's trying to win her back, and so there's this moment, is she gonna take him back? And she's like, get out of here, you dirty dog. She sends him away, and then she sings this song. I didn't know I was a seed when I tried to bury me. I didn't think I'd ever get free, but this electricity in my chest begging to be born. How could I regret? I didn't know I was a seed when I tried to bury me. I didn't think I'd ever get free, but this electricity in my chest begging to be born. How could I regret? I didn't know I was a seed. I didn't know I was a seed. All right, well, we will do one more. Thank you so much for taking this journey with us and letting us try this all out on you. And also, if you guys have any ideas how we can find funding to stage an opera, we are very open. Just come right up, send us an email, we will be all ears. In all seriousness, though, we really are going to be looking for funding, because the next sort of iteration of this, and what we would hope, is that we next summer might be able to get a group of musicians and even take kind of something similar to this, but with some more people, and we wouldn't necessarily have, costumes and a set and all that, but be able to present it sort of, a theatered version of it with other actors and musicians, and maybe tour it around to some different towns in South Dakota. So if your town might be interested in hosting an event like that, that is our next sort of goal that we'd like to get to with this. But thank you again so much. Thank you to the Humanities Council and the Festival of the Book. We are both going to be in the Black Box Theater, which has a name, I forget what it is, but
Fishback.
The Fishback, and signing books. So there's going to be, for those of you who've been here all day, almost all the authors that are part of this event will all be in that room, so you can go up, you can buy books, get them to sign, go talk to people, and we'll be there too, signing our books. So thank you again. So this is the finale of the opera. It's called Every Song's a Love Song Now. And so, after everything she's been through, there's a little more. We're just going to skip over that. You'll get to see that when you get to see the whole thing. But in the end, she realizes that the true love story of her life is with the land, it's with the animals, and that not only does she love them, but they love her back, and that is the true love story that she's been dreaming of, and now she's living. How could I have known you've been waiting here for me? Across an ocean of grass, across my sea of disbelief, and I'll admit that I was lost, that I'd wandered for too long. Then I found you in the fields. Then I found you in the barn, in the lamb's curling wool, in the lace still green and sweet, in the dust and in the dirt, in the first full blush of spring. Every song's a love song now. Every song I sing's for you. When I found you, I had nothing, nothing, nothing. And I have leaves and stems and roots. When I found you, I had nothing, nothing, nothing. And I have leaves and stems and roots. On a winter night so cold, in the way all things must die, in the way we are reborn, to the sun and to the soil. Every song's a love song now. Every song I sing's for you. When I found you, I had nothing, nothing, nothing. And I have leaves and stems and roots. 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 stems and roots. Thank you so much.